natural behaviors in a way that helps us understand about the money that's coming in and where that money goes, and consequently how we make our business fit. But the other thing that I particularly like about it is there are very few money things that happen as an instant answer to something. And consequently, it basically takes people to a point where we recognize where they are now, and we then build out a plan for them, typically anywhere between 4 and 8 quarters, so anywhere between 1 and 2 years, really. But we make incremental changes in each one of those quarters to get them towards a goal. So nice. We don't have to say, right, you have to double your sales or you have to halve your expenses. We do these things incrementally. So it feels comfortable. And we start to make those small changes. And as we make those small changes quarter on quarter in a very deliberate and intentional way, funnily enough, people start to feel better about money. They feel better about the choices that they have. They know that when tax season comes around, they have money already set aside. It's not a pain. I get it. Nobody likes paying taxes for sure. But there is a very different feeling knowing that you already have the money to pay the demand than it is thinking, where am I going to scrabble this bit of money together for? I just wasn't expecting a bill that was ever going to be that big. How am I going to deal with that? So all these kind of behaviors that, again, back to the mindset thing, sort of bring us inward and create this piece of fear around numbers and finance in our business. We basically want to banish that number fear forever. We want to get people comfortable with it. We want them to have a plan. We want them to sleep at night. We want them to know that they are being intentional about how they use money in their business, what it's for, how we do it, how we build a business, how we build profit. No surprises. That's really what we're after.
I like that, because a lot of us, we're entrepreneurs, but we just do what we love to do. And then you suddenly think, oh man, I need to bring money in. Okay, so I have to rush off and try and make sales. But in the meanwhile, I'm terrified because I need to, I don't know, eat tonight. So
absolutely,
I need to make sales. And it's like it becomes this vicious circle of just pain and fear.
It is, and that it is a point that is incredibly well made. And really what happens is that we go chasing the sales, we do the sales, and then we ramp up the expenses to manage the sales. And all that really happens is we just end up with a bigger beast to feed all the time.
Yes, that's right.
And all the time, again, back to the mindset piece, all the time we're clinging on to every last client, hoping that they don't stop, don't find someone else, don't do all of those things, because then, of course, what happens is our sales start coming down, but we've still got this great big beast of an expense base to deal with. So we live in fear all the time of that equation sort of going wrong somewhere. Meanwhile, we're not really looking after the right things first as part of that process.
That's true, because then it's true, you hang on to every client and then you start compromising and start giving away. Anyway, then it becomes just a mess.
Yeah.
So
absolutely
I love
absolutely
that, because it is a mindset, because you don't know. Then you say, well, where do I go? How do I do this? How do I even get out of this craziness? So, and that's nice. Now someone doesn't come in and just say, okay, you need to make 20 more sales a day or whatever. Yeah. You're saying, okay, let's do slowly. So it gives us time to adjust, and it gives us time to realize, oh, wow, this is pretty...
Actually, you've made a really good point there about, again, it taps very much into this incremental behavior and how these things accumulate. One of the things that I find is that when you start talking to people and you throw them a question about, what do you think you'd have to do to double your profit? People come back with, I'd have to double my sales. I have to do all of these enormous things. And the reality is it's so very often not the case. But the real issue is we're trying to answer the wrong question. How do I make more profit? And it's the classic of how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Yeah, it's very much akin to that kind of idea. What we really need to do is, as I say, historically, is take that sales margin overhead piece, incrementally move the 3 things in the right direction, and those small incremental changes seriously add up. So again, as a core underlying piece about how people plan to make an intentional profit in their business, that's one part of it. How we then help them manage what happens as that cash then comes in, and make sure that we're making the business function from a slightly different angle as well, really gives the best of both worlds scenario there.
I think, Jason, at this point, it's probably a good time for you to tell everyone how to get hold of you, because everyone's going, oh, I need Jason right now in my life.
Okay, so easiest thing really is through my Facebook page. In actual fact, all of my social handles you can find me on @JasonAWithers. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter predominantly. And obviously there are links through to my radio show there, and there will be links through to how people can sign up and subscribe through iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, of course, as well, and through the Spreaker platform as well. So yes, that's it. Now, as part of that, and as part of something I'm going to be launching in Q4, I have a new Facebook page which I will start posting through on Monday. In actual fact, this might actually go out through that page as part of a process that I was really saving for Q4. And the page is called Profit Gives You Choices. So head over there, like the page, send me a message, tell me what you need, and we can take it from there. But that's really where I'm going to be running all of the Profit First stuff through. It's where challenges will get run through now in Q4 as part of that process as well. So that's really going to be my community page for dealing with profit. There is a free Facebook group as well that you can access, also called the ProfitLevers, which you can access either from that Profit Gives You Choices page or my general authority page at Jason A. Withers.
So there's a lot of ways to contact you. Now, you've just mentioned something about a course or something exciting that you're going to launch now. You've just mentioned it. So tell us a bit about what's happening in this
So actually going right back to the beginning where you asked me two questions in one, I've just actually, something has just triggered in there that's made me think about something that you said about Q4 and why it's important for people. It's typically the time where people really try and, they're going to try and cross that finish line, whatever that looks like for them, whatever plans they'd set out earlier in the year. We have that sort of traditional moment where people now start scurrying for the finish line and really trying to cram things in. But it's also a great time for reflection about what's going to happen in the next year, 2019 for us now, of course. So alongside the Profit First thing, there are two things that I really want to do. The first is to take a group of people through a beta program this side of Christmas, so that they are basically set, ready to go with all of the foundational groundwork done and in place. They understand the methodology, they have all the setup in the background that they need to do that, educational training videos and so on through the weeks that will lead them into that and handhold them through that process. The extension of that will then end up being that will get turned into a digital course down the line, so it can be very much a DIY experience. But we'll take all the learnings from that beta course and roll those into that, and that'll be a 2019 project to get the digital side of it done. But I really want to try and inspire some entrepreneurs who have sort of hedged around I know I need to do something about money and I've sort of been ignoring it a bit. I'm really looking for some people who are ready to step into an easier financial life, and a life where they get to dispense with some fears that they've probably held on to for a long time. I want to challenge them to think about what more profit in their business would do for them, personally, business-wise, socially. No pressure on any one of those three fronts. People have all sorts of different things that are of value to them and things that they will always prioritize. But it's really going to be about trying to get some people set up, ready to go, so that we know 1st of January, they are in prime position. They've got the planning out the way. They are going to start 1st of January knowing they are baking profit into every single sales transaction that they do. Every single time they receive money into their bank account, they know exactly where it's going. And most importantly, they know that in this order, it's going to profit, owners pay, taxes, expenses. And we'll teach them how to do that in the course and actually start to get people to a point where they love the concept of receiving that money and knowing exactly what they're going to do with it and building an intentional business around it on that basis. And that's then going to give us the platform to take them through a period of time where we then start looking at where they are now and what their business looks like and take them to a very different place at some point in the future, but on a very planned basis. So this is intentional. There's definitely work involved. It's not for those who think, I can show up and maybe I'll sort of have a listen in. This is definitely about people who are really keen to make a difference to what their financial life looks like in 2019. So it's going to kick off week commencing 29th of October, about 4 weeks' time. It's currently under creation at the moment. On the little flip chart in the background over there, you can currently see the weeks and so on getting planned out there. It's in creation, and I'm really trying to get it into an intensive space. Beta launch, so it'll never end up being launched at a low price again in the way it will be for this run. It will be a co-creation exercise. I will be actively looking for feedback from the students, looking to improve that teaching experience, really cover them off. And they're going to find themselves in a space in Q4 where, yes, they're trying to reach the finish line, but they're also trying to set themselves up for a seriously good 2019.
That sounds awesome. It sounds brilliant, perfectly to end the year that way and then just launch the new year. And it sounds like you're going to give a whole lot of hand-holding and connection, and people can speak to you. So I think this course here will probably be worth more than your course eventually when you do it online.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a question of recognizing the beta element involved in it. It will definitely be of a co-creation basis. Yes, there will be an awful lot more group time, one-to-one time, hand-holding time as people require. It's important that we get people over the line, ready for that 1st of January start point. We've got to get that mindset in place that says, yes, we're going to attack it, we're going to do it. And I'll be working with these people to make sure they absolutely get there and they're ready for the 1st of January, because that's where the fun piece really starts. Well, actually, no, to be fair, I really want the fun piece to be the 1st of April when they get their first quarterly profit distribution. That'll be the really fun time where they actually get to go and do a piece of real celebration with that. So that's definitely something to be looking forward to. But yes, it'll be out. The details will be out pretty shortly now. It'll go live. Cart will be open from October the 15th. I think week commencing October the 15th. There'll be an early bird window as well with some super special bonuses to get some extra one-to-one time, looking at people in their businesses in a slightly different way as well in that period as well. And then for those that sign up within that first week or so, there's going to be a bonus training on that where I teach the whole thing with the ProfitLevers methodology around the sales margin overhead piece as well. So lots to learn, lots to pick up on in that way.
Okay, so now we again need you to just remind people how to get hold of you. And I know it's the 15th, but sure, time goes by so quickly.
Doesn't it just?
Who knows when they're going to be listening to this, so we need you.
Sure. Easiest thing to do right now is head over and message me through my effectively the page that I use for all my Coach on Fire radio stuff, which is at Jason A. Withers, or just shoot me a message through Instagram if you're an Instagram person, and that's your platform of choice. Shoot me a message, we'll hook up and we'll get you sorted out with the details.
Sounds great. And I hope that you were saying that April would be a really important month for everyone, and it'll actually show how great your course really is. So are you going to have like some celebration for all your new beta
That's an interesting thing. I hadn't actually thought about celebrating with them as such, but in whatever way that shape or form that might take place. But no, really, that one of the core principles that comes with Profit First is, at the end of every quarter, we try and go through the process of a profit distribution. And if your business is carrying debt or you're carrying debt as an individual, I should also say we totally tackle that and deal with eliminating that as fast as we can as a core part of the process that we go through as well. So if you think, oh my word, I'm not making a profit now, or I don't think I'm making a profit now, it's absolutely the best time to try and get on board, because the sooner we sort that stuff out, the sooner you stand more of a chance of understanding the things that will definitely lead you to profit. And that, again, can be a very handheld experience. So it's important. The quarterly distribution, it's a mindset thing. Being able to reward ourselves for the work that's done and realize that piece of growth is an important point to stand back and recognise what we've achieved. And we do that far too infrequently as, you know, as entrepreneurs, business owners. We're too busy chasing the next thing most of the time. And we never really stop to reflect and enjoy